There's three things that every human being shares: the desire for love, the desire for liberty, and the desire for the actual title for freaking Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce, and here we are talking about the real title for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. That is a big moment. And so when I saw this, I was like, yo, what's it gonna be? Now go ahead and hit that like button if you're excited for Breath of the Wild 2, which all of us absolutely are. And let me know what you think of this title, this name, as soon as you hear it in the comments down below, all right? Get them fingers ready. We know there's a lot of importance behind this title because Nintendo themselves have said as much. Bill Trinen back in summer of 2021 said they couldn't give the final name. It was a secret because you start to get little hints about the game and about the themes and about what the main gimmicks are gonna be from those subtitles, and so their lips were sealed. So since then, we've all speculated, we've all wondered, we've come up and seen and read and heard all these ideas. So when I see The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 title leaks, I get really giddy. And then I read this one, and I knew I had to make this video. Some games just want you to spell 5-letter words, and then some games are far deeper experiences. If you're looking for something to really get invested into, then I've got the one for you. Today's video is brought to you by Kowloon High School Chronicle, a puzzly, single-player adventure game full of visual novel-style school days, Indiana Jones-style exploration, and first-person RPG-style battles. Originally released in 2004, Kowloon High School Chronicle is now out on Switch and PlayStation 4, remastered in HD and available in North America for the very first time. This game is gonna suck you in, with its emotion-based dialogue system, aha moment puzzle solving, and dozens upon dozens of hours of gameplay. If you want to become a treasure hunter and solve the mystery beneath the school, then make sure to click the link in the description down below to check the game out for yourself. Every time you click the link, it helps support the channel too. Now I've got to go. I've got some puzzles to solve. This leak comes from Paul Gale, who, honest to goodness, is a guy I've never heard of before. Apparently he is some sort of insider who had insider knowledge on PlayStation All-Stars back in the day, amongst other games, and apparently he runs Paul Gale Network, a network based on his own name. And on Paul Gale Network, he says that he received a rumor, a leak, about the title of Breath of the Wild. And instantly people started covering this and saying like, oh my gosh, the title is out there, we know the name of the game. I was suspicious. One, because I'd never heard of Paul Gale, and even though he has a nice picture next to Aonuma himself, it seemed a little odd. Secondly, Nintendo has said they want to keep this really locked down. And when Nintendo wants to keep something locked down, they do it better than anybody in the industry. Their leaks, yes, they happen, but Nintendo keeps their presentations, their products, and their subtitles super secret when they want to. So I already was suspicious. I read this and it says that the title, the name, hear this, is The Legend of Zelda Breath of Duality. Now let's consider this for a moment, all right? Breath of Duality, all right? Duality would be the theme of the game. A duality between character abilities, duality on land and floating regions, duality between past and present, darkness and light, playing multiple characters. That's what Paul Gale says duality refers to, and the entire game is based around the concept of basically yin-yang, two opposite sides of the same coin. Now let's be real, that sounds plausible. I don't think Breath of Duality really flows off the tongue. I don't think duality is a word that's anywhere near as common or as catchy as wild, but it makes sense, and based on what we've seen in the early trailers, you could definitely agree that these are themes that are going to be present. We see Link in the sky and on the ground. We see Zelda falling into darkness, and we know that Ganon is back and up to something quite nefarious. We also see the arm and new abilities, and we have heard leaks and rumors about different sets of abilities coming into play this game in comparison to Breath of the Wild 1. But then things start to get a bit weird. Paul Gale himself says this is a rumor for a reason because it does not come from a direct source. What? And at this point I say, why are people talking about this like this is the name leaked out? The man who supposedly has the info, him very self, is saying this does not come from a direct source. So we're believing a source of a source of a source? He says that supposedly wherever he got this from saw the name a considerable amount of time ago, supposedly, and so it could have been just a random idea or one of many template titles. He goes on to say that, hey, I can certainly see this being real. However, due to not having any direct proof, I will take this with skepticism. This man is reporting, leaking, rumor mongering a title for the biggest Nintendo game, which in his own very article, he says he does not have any direct proof. And he's skeptical. This is how things of this sort spread so quickly, right? People choose to read this and omit certain words when they go on and talk about it, right? People are like, oh my God, this is the title. Let's not talk about the part where he says he has no direct source, no direct proof, and he's himself taking it with skepticism. Let's just say Breath of Duality is the name. And I'm gonna go on record and say that Breath of Duality is not the name, all right? I believe Nintendo would do something far more catchy. I believe Nintendo would do something that flows better. And I believe Nintendo definitely has the title on secret lockdown. And I kind of think we haven't even guessed it yet. I kind of think it's gonna be either something super obvious like, whoops, it's just Breath of the Wild 2, or it's gonna be something super unique that we couldn't really generate on our own, like Wind Waker. What is a Wind Waker, right? Twilight Princess? I mean, maybe you could have come up with that one, but probably not. I think it's gonna be a title that does come and say, wow, it's based on an item or an element of the game that we couldn't possibly have any idea about yet. And look, this is no shade at Paul Gale or the people reporting on his story, but it's just weird how this comes about, and it's weird how it's written, and it's weird that this person who's apparently been out of the spotlight for some time comes back with a blog post basically saying like, maybe somebody could have potentially seen this at one point in development, I don't know, perhaps Breath of Duality. It's just very odd, and I want you to know that when I cover things and I tell you like, yo, I think this is really happening, or I give like a 75% chance to it, I try and vet these things. I really see where they came from, the source of it. I don't just pull the instant headline and be like, yeah, it's real. Because we have to do a bit more than that. We gotta do our due diligence, and we have to bring better info to you so you're not just seeing things that supposedly, skeptically, maybe, possibly happened. While we're on the subject, let me tell you a little bit about what some leakers do, all right? So they will tweet out a bunch of things, right? A bunch of potential options. And then after the event or the reveal happens, they'll delete the ones that were incorrect, right? So a direct is coming and you're like, I bet they announced Donkey Kong, a new trailer for Splatoon 3, and they bring out the release date for Breath of the Wild. And then when only one of those happens, you delete two of the tweets and it looks like you were correct. That is a common tactic that I've seen. The other is talking really complicatedly about very simple things, right? So you talk about like, okay, Nintendo is gonna go into great detail about their plans for the future of a big franchise that hasn't been around for a while, but is coming back to Switch and will make new steps to evolve the series in a big way that will really appeal to fans. It's like, dude, every new Switch game appeals to fans and evolves the franchise, and there are many IP that are coming back that haven't been on Switch yet. What were you talking about? You were talking about every game, any game, but it looks like, oh my gosh, you called it. They were making Kirby in 3D. And with Zelda, it's just, the stakes are so much higher, right? There's so much anticipation and hype for this game. And I honestly think we're just gonna have to wait for Nintendo themselves. Maybe something will squeak out, but it's definitely gonna be much more secure than this skeptical take on potentially maybe whatever. I will bring it to you if it happens. Otherwise, we'll have to wait and see Nintendo's take at E3, because that's the take that matters. This summertime, they will do a direct, and I guarantee that Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will be there, and I guarantee we'll get more information, and we'll finally figure out the gameplay, the characters, the name. But for now, Breath of Duality, what do you think? Does that appeal to you? Are you buying it at all, or do you take it with not even a grain of salt, maybe like a, I don't know, a micron of salt? A quark of salt. Is that a small thing, a big thing? I don't even know. But anyways, I know that I love and appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching these videos. Thanks for giving me the opportunity and the platform to talk about this stuff and bring you guys accurate information. That's really important to me, and I hope you can trust me. I love you all a lot. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.